Welcome back, traders, to the second portion of our show, Market Movers, and we definitely have to start with Netflix here, Dennis.
Wow, Joel. Obviously, they came out, they did beat earnings for this quarter, but their guidance, they lowered guidance significantly for next quarter. Lost more subscribers than they thought they were gonna, so it was just a mess of projecting the earnings out forward. I was just doing some quick math. Like, this thing traded above 100 there for a while, and I was looking at this thing after hours thinking, man, if those numbers are real, this thing's gonna go a hell of a lot lower. Of course, the thing just fell 19 points. I'd be scared to death to short the thing 19. I wish I would have, though, because I'm just doing the quick math on this. They lowered guidance from $1.16 for next quarter, estimates down to 36 cents to 70 cents. Just even taking the high end of that, say 70 cents, Joel, and then, you multiply, that's for the quarter. If that was out to the year, it'd be $2.80 for the year. If you give that a 25 multiple, which is a pretty nice multiple for a stock that's actually earnings are going down, you'd get a price target of $70. If you gave it a multiple of 20, you'd get a price target of 56. So scary, scary, scary. Obviously, we don't know if maybe the earnings are going to bounce back here eventually. But for the earnings for next quarter, that thing's got a real high PE right now. So I'd be, it looks cheap when it's down $41, but I'm still thinking it could be expensive still.
Well, just a couple fundamental notes on that. One is, we can give you the mumbo jumbo on all the numbers, but the technical numbers, but when it comes down to, what the companies are delivering and, the estimates and the PEs, that's what matters, and that's what you're seeing happen here with Netflix. Also, just another fundamental point. I mean, we had the service back when it came out for like 3 months, and we were just like, we didn't use it. We canceled it. And that was even before, the other things happened. So, there's no barriers to entry, and they have no lock on content. And, so that's what you see is happening. From a technical perspective, though, back to the mumbo jumbo, you had an April 010 low of 73.62. We hit 71.50 in the pre-market. That would be your support, all the way from 71.50 up to that 73.62. Dennis, I'll let you try and get a pop back. I bet you we don't trade 71.50 this morning.
I don't know, Joel. I could go anywhere. This thing's just like going to casino and gambling right now.
Okay.
This thing's going to probably have a 10-point range at least during the session.
Opening range. It's going to have a 10-point opening range.
10-point well, it's kind of settled in a little bit here in the 70s. So like last night it was around 85 it was settling in a little bit lower here this morning in the mid-70s. So I'm not even going to guess on Netflix where it's going. All I know is I'm not a buyer.
Well, if I was short, I would definitely be buying.
Well, yeah, if I was short, I'd already be covered. I would have covered at 100, even though my math said to cover at 70.
All right, let's move on to something a little bit more tame, something a little bit more tradable. Texas Instruments.
Texas Instruments came out. The numbers initially looked bad, but then there was some one-time items stuff in there, so it really wasn't that bad. There was a slight miss, but not really as bad as it looked like just on the top-line numbers. Stocks had an incredible run. We've run up in their earnings here. Beginning of the month, we were $26. It approached, $32 level, $31.69 there to close at yesterday before the earnings, trading at $31.15. So it's just down slightly here, Joel. Not too bad considering it was an earnings miss and it had a heck of a run.
Yeah, that 31.71, 31.90 area is really starting to thicken up here as resistance. You had a spike down in the pre-market before they, really interpreted the earnings to 30 and a quarter. So, 30 to 32, we're trading right in the middle here. I think things will thicken up closer you get to 32, and you'll find some buyers around the $30 area.
The big one in the Dow this morning, 3M reporting, missing their numbers there, trading 77.40 right now after closing at 82.18. So that's actually probably what's brought the market negative. We were trading up just slightly in all morning. Then 3M came out and the market went negative. So I'm looking at the charts here. The 80 looked huge. We broke out from that 80. Obviously we're trading significantly below that. If for whatever reason the stock started to get a bounce, I think you'll find some major sellers in that 80 area though, Joel.
Yeah, the stock broke down in September, hit 71.71. I don't really think that's going to come into play here in today's session. I'm just looking at the overnight activity. I think that's the best gauge we can have here is we've held 77, so that might be good for a bounce the first time. And then, of course, you got a lot of room in the upside to get to yesterday's low.
Another one reporting here this morning, DuPont, DD. They're liking those numbers. So we got, it's not all bad news today, Joe. We got one trading up here, DD, 46.70 after closing at 46.09. Another stock that's just kind of just started to break out here over the last couple of days, breaking out over that 45 area. 46.70 now. I'm starting to look here. It's opening up a bit. I'm going to let you do resistance, but if we were to pull back, I love the 45. I don't know if we're going to pull back that far, but in the low 45s, looks kind of tempting to be a buyer.
I'm going to use that. 47.40 is where it topped out in the pre-market here, so that's still 70 cents away from here. I have the major resistance more up at the 47.90 to 48 level. But, these thick stocks, when they get these pops like this, 60 cents, $1, usually get some sellers stepping in here. Also considering that this stock, was under $38, only a few weeks ago. I think any short-term players that were buying the stock going into earnings, may want to take, this earnings, gain and, take some profits.
UPS also reporting here this morning. Stock is trading down $1 now. It took a while before the stock was figuring out which way it wanted to go. It kind of just hung out there for a good half an hour after the earnings report. Actually did trade up a little bit just after 8 o'clock up to 71.62. Now it's turned and it's trading down at 69.89, which is down $1 after closing at 70.87. Stock looking, I love that 70 as a psychological swing number. I don't see anything in the book to really justify it, but I think I'm going to use 70 as my swing number. For whatever reason, 72 is huge up there, but we're so far away from there, I don't know if it'll come into play. If it did, I'd be probably looking at, being a seller up in those high 71s.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that 71.62 that it hit, in the pre-market because yesterday's high was 71.64, so you got some major resistance there. We've already punched through yesterday's low here at 70.21, so I'll use that as resistance. If in fact we can't hold this 69.51 area, which was the 2-day low, we could easily take a look at the $68. Also, folks, just keep in mind, that UPS here is, run up, $10 since the October 4th low was 61.27. So once again, as with the DuPont, people that were buying this ahead of earnings, looking for a good earnings, may take this opportunity and sell into this rally.
Xerox also reporting here this morning. XRX stock is trading up 15 cents right now after closing at $8, $8.15. Bid $8.20, so it looks like it's going to open above that $8 level. $8 looked absolutely enormous on this. It was giving resistance back last month, even the month before that a little bit. So a few times it's topped out in this 8. So I'd expect if it came back down to that $8 level, you probably would find some buyers there. So I'm going to use $8 for my support number on this. Resistance, again, it starts to open up here. I'm going to leave it to Joel.
I'll just use this, this 830, which it hit in the pre-market. Also, the last few times that it peaked its head above $8, it didn't get very far. Got to 806, 810. I mean, I just don't know what's going to take to move this stock. I mean, copy machines. I mean, I don't know what else they do, Dennis. I just, this stock has just been a dog for a long time, and I just don't see, that this earnings forecast or this earnings make is going to, really change the overall psychology of the stock.
United States Steel, which is symbol X, that's actually now trading down 2 cents. It's been trading up all morning, reported there about an hour ago, was trading up into the mid-25s, has pulled back now just in the last 10 minutes or so, starting to pull back, and it's actually trading flat here now. 24.75. Another stock you often that can track with that is NUE. So I would keep an eye on X if you're trading NUE today. X should be your leader. Just looking at the chart on X, $25. I was going to say, if we open above there, that'll give you support. We open below there, that'll give you resistance. So I'm going to use 25 for my swing number on this X. What do you think, Joel?
You got a bunch of highs there in, the 24.78, 24.84 level. We did pop above there, just momentarily to 25.60. So I think you're going to, if in fact the stock can get over $25, I think you're going to be met, with some pretty good sellers. In the pre-market, there seems to be, a buyer here at the 24.65 level. So I wouldn't really start shorting that stock until it got through that area. If, in fact, it could not hold that 24.65, I'd look for 23.61. And just, this is a stock that you just have to mention, on the monthlies. I mean, here's a stock in 08, that traded up to $1.96, and here we are just wallowing in the low 20s. I mean, like I said, I don't know what it's going to take to get this stock back in favor.
AK Steel reporting as well, which is symbol AKS. 865 at close, trading 810 right now. $8 looks enormous to me on the chart here. I'm going to use that for my first stopping point as support. Takes that out, then it starts to open up a little bit. But I think you'll find some buyers in this $8 area here, Joel. What do you think?
Similar chart formation in the pre-market to what you had to X. You had the pop and then the drop. So we did break out above $8 here. I would use that as my swing number. Really is going to start to thicken up here, all the way from 865 up to 885, which was the high back in September. But I think it's going to have to rally 70 cents to get to that level. Below $8, I think it's going to, find a little bit of support at 789, but the bigger support comes in at the 750 level.
Eli Lilly just coming out with some news there a few minutes ago. They're withdrawing, just the headline here from Fly on the Wall. Eli Lilly announces withdrawal of Xigris. I think it's Xigris following a study. So they're withdrawing one of their drugs. They're actually going to cut their guidance there with this drug withdrawal as well. And they see a charge of 5 cents for a pre-tax charge of 5 cents for that withdrawal. Stock is trading down just slightly. Not as bad as the Netflix. When they lowered guidance, they really lowered it. Lilly just lowered it just a little bit here, and obviously Lilly, pretty low beta stock there. So it's trading down 40 cents right now, 37.80 after closing at 38.19. LLY if you don't know the symbol on Lilly. Looking at the charts here, $38. I think you'll find some resistance there if we open up below there. And then it gets interesting. What do you think on Lilly, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, 37.70, 37.75 has really been able to keep this stock in check after it tested that 39 level. I think when we were back up there a couple days ago, there was something pretty substantial in the book. So either that seller's still there or they're coming down. But I think if you break below this 37.70 level, things start to open up a little bit, at least into the low 37s.
There's lots of other movers, lots of smaller earnings plays. We don't have time to cover them all. Check your earnings calendar. And is there anything else you wanted to close with here, Joel?
No, folks, that's it. We'll be back with you tomorrow.